All right, so I think it's time that we talk about the Wynn and the Encore and the prospect that Steve Wynn wants back in. At least not in an official capacity, but he wants to do something about his namesake, according to my insider that gives me this type of information. And it might make total sense. The Wynn is lacking something right now, and it needs to get it back. But it's not like it's in its own company. It's got good company in Vegas. Lots of casinos are lacking what the Wynn has got lack of right now. So we're going to talk about what would get the Wynn back, what their brand is all about here in town, from what I see it, in my perspective. And we're also going to talk right now in this video about the idea that the Wynn is up for sale, because I never heard that one, and I don't think it's a thing, and I just want to squash that rumor right now. And if anybody from the Wynn or the Encore is watching, you want to reach out and correct the record on anything I say, I'm open to participation from these properties. I'm not an unreasonable person. I don't need to be right all the time, so go ahead and send me an email if you hear anything you don't like. Don't bet on that happening, kids. It's probably not going to happen. But how's it going, guys? My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for future notifications as we take a deep dive into what's happening at the Wynn in the last, couple of years. Their CEO is gone. We'll talk about that in a minute. And right now, they're struggling like a lot of ultra luxury type of properties are, and they want to right the ship, and maybe Steve Wynn is involved, and there it is. Share your favorite thing about the Wynn. I love the Wynn. I love the way that it transitions from one property to the other between the Wynn and the Encore. I love the horticulture inside. What's your favorite thing about the Wynn? Or if you've never been to the Wynn, what's your favorite thing about the biggest hotel you've ever been to in your whole life? Of course, if you subscribe to this channel, you're going to get updates on Vegas, nearly daily updates. You're going to get live streams at least once per week. You're also going to get short films and analysis and news. And you're also going to get to hear about our channel sponsor. Our channel sponsor over here, we have two officially. It's P9 Magazine. That's our big one over on Instagram. And P9 Magazine is actually an Ethereum-based company. They're trading Ethereum 2.0 as validators. They are their own token. They actually go to showcase the global Pinay to the world. And a Pinay is a woman of Filipino origin, just like my wife, Caroline. And in their first issue coming up, they're going to have Pinays from North America. Their issues coming up in the future are going to have Pinays from all over, everywhere else. Australia, New Zealand, the UK, the EU, Mexico, Philippines, you name it, they got it. Everywhere in between, including the GCC group of countries. That would be the Gulf group of countries. That would be places like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and so on and so forth. They buy the side of Resorts World once a week out of every month of the year. Check them out on the biggest resorts, the biggest billboard in the world. And they also taught me a lot about crypto. So I made my own channel called Not Leaving Crypto that you should go check out. And so, yeah, tell them I said hello. They're over on Instagram. Click the link in the first pinned comment of this video. We also have VegasFaceMask.com. Speaking of Filipinas, my wife makes these by hand. No outsourcing, 2 for $25. And there's a Black Friday special going right now. So if you buy 4 masks, we're sending you a 5th for free of your choice. So VegasFaceMask.com, no nose wire, goes around the back of your head, not your ears. Super comfortable. We just had a person from Canada choose to have these overnighted with FedEx, or it was UPS in this case. They just needed them for an event, and they wanted them, and they paid over $100 to ship. But we ship to Canada for $20 in most cases, and for free all throughout the United States. VegasFaceMask.com. There's our sponsors out of the way. Thanks for sticking with me. All right, so we got to talk about the Wynn. The big rumor that I've heard, and I've seen in comments on YouTube videos, is that the Wynn is up for sale. Now, look, I've looked at all of the, all the places this could be a whisper. I can't find anything about this. But the Wynn is going through some tumultuous times right now. And the reason is simple. The Wynn is lacking something. And like I mentioned in the preamble of this video, it's something that everybody else lacks here in town, which is the high rollers. But the problem the Wynn has is they've built this reputation of selling $65 Nike polo shirts that have the Wynn branding on it instead of a $10 t-shirt. And building, when Steve Wynn was responsible for the company, and we'll get to him in just a minute, whether or not he's actually coming back, when he was responsible for helping the company through the 2008 crisis, his solution was to build something for ultra high rollers instead of trying to pander to people who were trying to come to Vegas on a budget. That's the way they roll. So the fact that they don't have those high rollers coming in anymore is a major problem. And the solution could be, as my source tells me, Steve Wynn possibly coming back. I'm going to read you this WhatsApp message from my source, and it says, Steve Wynn has recently and secretly approached the Wynn Casinos Board of Directors and offered to act as their special advisor. and develop a plan of action to turn the company around, be far more customer friendly, bring the gambler big shots back to Vegas, as well as set up a new and exciting entertainment alignment that reflects and represents the current world of technology, multicultural symbiosis, and synergy, and the public's interest in seeing various forms of exhilaration and excitement from across the planet. So why would Steve Wynn want to be back in? Well, why is Steve Wynn not involved? You guys might not know this, but Steve Wynn was accused of some nefarious acts against some women that then refused to testify under their own names. And what ended up happening, and I'm not saying who's right and wrong, was when this case went to trial, the judge ordered the women to testify under their own names, not Jane Doe number 1, Jane Doe number 2. See, in a court of law in the United States, people can accuse you, but they can keep their anonymity in the court system. These women said that they would not be able to do that because they would be ruined in their industry, the casino gaming industry, because Steve Wynn was still such an influential figure. And the judge said that if you're not willing to go on the record officially, I'm not willing to hear the case, and the case was thrown out. During all this time, Steve Wynn was kind of voted out of his own company that he had helped to build from the ground up. And now we had different CEOs and chairmen like Matt Maddox, who recently stepped down as the CEO of the company. So, you know, the Wynn has made some interesting decisions over the past year. One of the updates we brought you on the channel was this ridiculous over-the-top group of rumors. It was rumors and allegedly, because they never came out publicly with it. The Wynn never did. Was an alleged group of a collection of COVID protocols that they would have. Things from, you know, security, escorting people to public health authorities when they suspected COVID, or taking their information at least and passing it along, and a do ask, do tell policy against people that looked sick. Just draconian things. That never came to pass. Matt Maddox, the former CEO, then did some good things, like, you know, taking a chance and opening up the buffet at the at the Wynn, got a frog in my throat, when nobody else wanted to open a buffet. Granted, it wasn't a self-service buffet, but he was operating within the state's rules at the time. Self-service buffets are open. We'll do a video on that, so subscribe to this channel. So he did some good things, he did some bad things, but now he stepped down, and the Wynn shareholders are worried about the future of the company. Now, Steve Wynn might come back to try to get his company back on track. It doesn't really matter if he's doing it in a formal capacity or not, and whether or not he'd ever be able to get back in is another thing altogether. Can he get a gaming license in Nevada again? That's going to be for the Gaming Commission to figure out. I mean, I don't see why it couldn't be reenacted, because he was never officially indicted on any charges. But even coming in an informal advisory role with the company would basically put the visionary that built the company back in the driver's seat in a way. It would be kind of like when Steve Jobs came back to Apple Computer back in the 1990s, and all of a sudden he wasn't the CEO necessarily, but he was just the guy that could right the ship. Maybe we see something like that with the property. But one thing's for certain, if the high rollers and the whales aren't coming in, it's going to be an upward battle for them. They're going to be having to go after the smaller dollars on the slots versus the bigger table gamers, which all the casinos are doing right now, with some casinos doing it better than others, with the Wynn, I believe, still having some of the highest casino floor space dedicated to casino table games out of any property. While some properties are removing them, the Wynn is stuck to its guns and kept that flowing and going. So it's going to be interesting to see as we get updates. If we do ever get to a point where the Wynn is being sold, I'll be definitely the first to tell you here on YouTube. I want to thank you guys for watching and hearing my thoughts on this and sharing my thoughts so you guys can make a decision about where you put your money in the future. And, you know, like, share, subscribe this video. And you guys are, as always, the very best part of my day. Check out my channel, Not Leaving Crypto, over on YouTube. And check out Pineye Magazine over on Instagram, as well as VegasFaceMask.com for that Black Friday special. Now's the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click. I appreciate you guys, and that's my video where I'm sticking to it. So 3, 2, 1, and click.